I'm very pleased to have Walter Pasternak's nephew, Paul Pasternak, as a guest today on Truth Talk News. And Paul, thank you again for uh, coming on the show. And I'd like to start by just giving a little background, or give us a little background on what you know about MK Ultra and your uncle's work.
Okay, well, hello everyone. It's Paul Pasternak here, and what's the 29th of December 2015 that I'm giving this interview with Howard. MK Ultra. The background is phenomenally long. It's a common fallacy that MK Ultra started after World War II, but the history of this mind control Manchurian candidate thing dates back to the Thracians and the Spartans. The U.S. War Department, after the Civil War in 1865, began a series of what they call peripheral nervous system experiments and research. And it's my understanding that sometime around 1950, the CIA joined with the War Department, and they kind of corroborated on, shared intelligence and research. So MK Ultra was not the beginning, and I'm sure it was not the end.
Right, because again, the CIA supposedly halted MK Ultra as they went on the record when they were caught through the Frank Church hearings. Uh, but I think that most people just think that it was that MK Ultra was connected to the CIA, but they're not aware of the Nazi connection and the connection to the secret societies, the Skull and Bones and the Thule Society, for example, which I think helped meld the CIA. The CIA are full of Skull and Boners,
Oh, sure, sure.
and that I
It's
think is,
Preppy Bill there.
yeah, that's definitely
Ivy
something.
League instructors.
Ivy League people, right? Exactly, insiders, and but most people are, and I was one of them. I was surprised. That's why I'm very happy to have you on here to give more information for us all to digest and understand. And uh, is that yes, this is an it's mind control is a Luciferian or a satanic, for lack of a better word. It's like a part of a manipulation of the minds, part of the control mechanism that has kept society together all these years. We have to understand that
Well,
we've always been under one form or another of influence by authority or by myth or by story. I mean, people believe.
well, sure.
Mhm.
It's really easy to shade black and white. That MK Ultra is involved in the devil and stuff like that. And of course, CIA has a very difficult job. They have to be inside all the dirty and ugly things that go on in this world in order to protect the average citizen of the United States. Some of your listeners might want to do a little research on the Finders group. They were brought to notoriety in 1987 in Silver Spring or Sarasota, Florida. Ritual abuse and things like that. Well, to a point, the CIA was involved. Very, very difficult thing for your all-American kid to grow up and be enmeshed in all this ugliness and still remain viable. But, it's dirty work and it has to be done.
Well, I don't necessarily agree with that, Paul. But I mean, as far as there is like an overall connection to this, whatever you want to call it, ritualistic. You use the right word with ritual, and all these initiated societies are full of rituals. And I think that a lot has to be considered for that. And the CIA itself created Operation Orphan, which was to make the devil respectable, so that, like in society, that it would be Satanism and the devil would be actually made respectable. Those are Sidney Gottlieb's own words, and that's on the record.
Sure.
And they certainly have through operations like Mockingbird to control the media and public opinion. we certainly are at a precipice where we can see that we have been manipulated. But let's get into this whole thing with, I'm sorry, we're getting off track. I really want to understand more about your uncle's work and how it relates to the problems that we're facing today.
Okay, well, in 1965, I think it was the Washington Post, knocked on my uncle's door at work, where he was chief accountant for this government mind control program that, an umbrella term is MK Ultra. He was with the Society for the Investigation of the Human Ecology, where he distributed in '65 $10 million for this mind control thing. And they stated, my uncle shut the door on the reporters, and then CIA got a front man in there, and the front man said that I forget his name. The three stated goals of MK Ultra type programs were the psychological, the sociological, and the anthropological. The sociological, of course, deals with media. We are all exposed to this single facet of MK Ultra. It's ridiculous how much influence CIA has in modern media.
Absolutely, I agree with you 100%.
But, it's a very traumatic thing for us who were in the program to watch a movie like Mel Gibson's Conspiracy Theory, or the new one, Jesse Eisenberg's American Ultra. They're an insult to us. Many people like me who have been under the influence of CIA, most of us all our lives, find it very demoralizing that some Hollywood hotshot can come in and basically ridicule us, and everyone says, okay, fine, it wasn't me, so I don't care. My family got involved it's a bit of conjecture on my part, but for two main reasons. One, my uncle made the press, and that pretty much doomed myself and my siblings and my mother. Another, Operation Operation Overcast was after we won World War II. We had to disarm all these Nazis from the common soldier all the way up. And then Operation Paperclip came in.
Right.
Joseph Mengele showed up under another name at the Overcast Army place. And it's documented. They had Joseph Mengele. Well, he disappears from history until after MK Ultra was exposed in '73 to '76. And then we have massive amount of disinformation. The boys from Brazil, Mengele's in Brazil. That's bullshit. Excuse my language, people. But Mengele worked primarily out of the University of Chicago. You might want to Google human experimentation in the United States. You'll come up with state-built penitentiary in Joliet, Illinois. I spent a lot of hours in Mengele's office when I was a child at Stateville Penitentiary.
Wow.
Mengele today is the grandfather of the GMO, the genetically modified organism. Mengele was the top geneticist in Nazi Germany. He had an IQ of, I shouldn't say had, because there's a rumor that he's still alive in Connecticut working on anti-aging and life-prolonging drugs. That would make him approximately 104, definitely within the realm of possibility. If he ever were to hear this interview, I'd like to say, hey, Joseph, I'm not going to call you Grandpa Joseph. My real grandfather would roll over in his grave. You're one hateful SOB, and if I find you, you're a dead man.
So I don't want you to give out your age, but what age group are you in? I mean, how? Because you said that he treated you, or that you were under the control. Again, you're a victim of MK Ultra. So it's just like in that movie, because the CIA reveals so much in the movies. I don't know why, but they do with the predictive programming. That movie about the altered mind made by Brian De Palma, the I'm trying to think of the title of it, where John Lithgow plays a child that was abused by a psychiatrist. Interestingly enough, I'm trying to remember the name of the
I
movie. Oh my God, it's a Brian De Palma film and from the
like Altered
90s.
States or something like that.
Raising Cain, that's what it's called. I remembered
Uh,
it. Raising Cain, yeah. So, folks, yeah, check that movie out to get a little idea of some insight into how they use these programs in our right in our face, and again, just like you said, I would be so affronted as well, Paul, that you see all these lies about what happened, and then you know the real truth, and no one will believe you, and they think you're crazy. It's hard. So then you grew up in this. That you when were you when did they get to you? How do you know?
uh,
I mean,
yeah, when did it first start in my life?
yeah,
At birth, if not before birth.
my God.
Um,
Because I
when
know
my
there's a hundred
brilliant
thousand of you. There's 100,000 of you in the country. That's how many people were involved in the program.
I am going to go with Carol Roots, RUTZ. She has a book called A Nation Betrayed. She was one of the loneliest girls I've ever seen in my life. Very much one of Mingala's pets. And she estimates in Ultranet search there were 20,000 people indoctrinated in 20 years. There's no reason to believe it has stopped. My personal experience, again, my Uncle Walter, a gang that couldn't spray straight, Marin County, 1957. He was exposed to the media, and my father was Navy. I was born in 1960, and we were living at San Francisco, Navy base there.
Presidio?
Pardon?
Presidio?
No,
No,
Vallejo.
well, okay, all right.
We lived in Vallejo. I'm
Okay.
not quite sure where my father was stationed. He's an American hero. While CIA was abusing my siblings and my mother and myself, I mean, we would have to watch 5, 10 guys line up in my mother's bedroom for gang rape. It was myself and my mom and my sisters. Excuse me a moment. I just fail to see how that could help America. But in '63, just before
It's not about Paul. It's not about helping America. It's like these are ritualistic, satanic, evil scumbags.
The people who were involved in MK Ultra were patriots. They did a very ugly job, but the mindset after the Cold War or after World War II, during the Cold War, was it had to be done.
I don't know. I can't believe after you. I can't even believe you're taking that position, considering everything. I mean, my God. So that's like that's a Nazi mentality. I did what I was told. So it's okay it's patriotic to slaughter and molest and crush people's into crush their identity, to split their identity into two.
Let's make a value judgment here. Let's go to 9/11. I was very deeply enmeshed with Al Qaeda here in San Diego during 9/11. Their original plan was to use surplus Cold War nukes that were already in place in New York to make New York just a glow-in-the-dark glass ashtray, and they were planning on doing this. I suggested that they go for a symbolic victory, and they did. We had 4 planes. The 4th one, of course, Bushy had to shoot down because there was a phone call to the White House saying, hey, we got this 4th plane, and we're going to land it right in the Oval Office. It was shot down. They found an engine 30 miles away. There's no way it could have bounced or fallen off.
Oh, no, I agree with you there. Absolutely.
Without me and people like me, we would have had a nuclear war.